Hi, my name's Alex Neal. I'm a framework manager for the SCF. Very proud to be here as a sponsor of the Construction Excellence SECBE Awards. So if we can move on, the session time is 45 minutes. That is quite a strict 45 minutes because of other sessions that are following beyond. The idea of the session is to provide sort of thought leadership and inspiration about customer satisfaction. So possibly new ways to do things that sort of, help and influence the way we can achieve excellent customer satisfaction. There is a Q&A session at the end of towards the end of this session. So if you can put any questions in the chat, that would be very useful. The session is being recorded, and the recordings will be available on the awards website next week. During the judging of the award, I was lucky enough to meet the teams from the finalists, and we're lucky today to have representative from each of them. First off, Oliver Cornwall, Senior Building Manager at Willmott Dixon. Brendan Minter, Plant Director at GSE Group. Daniel O'Grady, Commercial Manager from Devine Direct Labour Limited. I believe may not be able to make it actually this morning, so we have a replacement. And Robin Roberts, Chief Executive of Sutton Housing Group. Again, I'm not sure is actually here, I'm afraid, but he may well have joining us later. Okay, next slide, please. First off, I'd just like to give you a bit of a run through of the SCF journey in terms of customer satisfaction, and the journey we've been on. For those of you that don't know, SCF is a public sector construction framework that operates across the south of England, delivering public sector projects. To date, we've done about £6.5 billion worth of work over about 13 years. And all of it has been through a managed two-stage open book process. Now, the key to that is that it involves the contractors much earlier in the construction process, so pre-construction, which has given us some real benefits. Next slide, please. So why we've gone down two-stage route is because we had increasing frustrations with traditional construction, ending up in disputes quite a lot of the time, which meant we had to change philosophy and ethos, really. The key benefit of this, as I've already touched upon, is integrated project teams. So the principal contractor is involved much earlier in the process. So actually in pre-construction, where they can input a lot of their knowledge and whatever else to really help support the project. And it allows for a lot of early discussions and prioritising the key outcomes, and creates shared ownership through that process, which has been a real benefit. Next slide, please. So as I said, the SCF in a number of iterations has been in place for about sort of 13, 14 years. And the SCF, we've targeted our strategy and key objectives to deliver excellent customer satisfaction. We deliver demonstrable benefits, so social value, carbon reduction. Because we're a public sector organisation supporting public sector organisations, we have a good understanding of how the public sector works. So we're positioned ourselves as a trusted advisor to them, where we can offer sort of market intelligence on the construction industry, that kind of thing. But the key one, I think, to me, is the end-to-end support we offer. So from as soon as the client comes to us to the very end of the project, sort of at the end of the defects period, we will support them all the way through, and there's KPIs running all the way through that process. KPIs, we take project data, we carry out 360 reviews. So there's lots of methodologies for trying to listen to our clients and taking on board the key requirements that they have. And we do look to continually develop the framework to meet the needs and requirements of our clients. Okay, so we can move on, please, to the poll. So we're just about to put up a poll to the audience. If you can submit your response, that'd be great. Thank you. So that's quite an overwhelming result. The fact that it's central to everything that the businesses do. It is obviously, yeah. Return business is so important to everybody. I can understand that, but yeah. We'll now move on to some of the questions, the actual summit and the debate. If I can, first off, if I can come over to Brendan. Brendan, how do you approach sort of learning your client's key sort of requirements and needs? How do you go about finding out your client's key requirements?
We spend a lot of time getting to know our customers. To us, they are a name, they're not a number. So a lot of research behind the scenes goes on. We'll complete questionnaires, customer questionnaires that will help us understand what they like, what they don't like about how we're running our company. They'll tell us about the quality of the equipment. They'll tell us how they engage with our own staff, delivery drivers, our backup team of fitters. So we get a lot of feedback from our customers that we do use to move forward. We'll also find out if there's certain aspects within our company that they'd like us to improve on, or if there's anything missing within our own fleet of equipment that they'd like us to bring on board. So we're always working with the customers. They're the forefront of our business. And what they tell us, we do actively act on.
Okay, thank you. Robin, if I can come over to you next. Obviously, yours is probably quite a different service you're providing, really, in terms of the thing. But again, so how do you sort of engage with your customers and to gain their sort of knowledge of their requirements?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, you're right. Obviously, we're a registered provider. So for those that don't know, we deliver, we build and maintain social housing for people in need in Sutton. So for us, we have two clients, really. We have our customers, and then also we have our sort of regulation client as well. So if I sort of split it into two, so there's two responses. So for our clients, our customers, and I think maybe an important point is a lot of our residents don't have a choice. They can't always choose which landlord to be in. They may be given a home, offered a home which they have to take, or they don't get a home. So some of our residents don't have a choice, but what we want to do is make sure that they have a choice in everything that they do. So we get them involved in workshops to help shape the service. We have focus groups. We have groups where, let's say for grounds maintenance cleaning, we'll get them involved in the service review of that, how the contractor's performing, so they can help shape the service. We've got a resident on our board of directors, so that's quite important. We have a resident-focused subcommittee of the business who make decisions on policies, how we shape the service. We also hold surgeries, working with our residents on one-to-one. We do all the things that everybody else will no doubt do, surveys around repairs. We also send a birthday card to every resident because we provide older people services. And within that, we ask a magic wand question. We ask questions about the service, how we're delivering. But in terms of our other clients, so knowing what they want, so we've got effectively 2 other clients, and I'll try not to talk for too long. We've got the GLA who give us grant funding. So for us, that's about us being responsive, making their job easy because they've got targets to deliver in terms of number of homes, if we can deliver homes on a timely fashion. And some of it's about doing their thinking for them as well. So again, I've sat on both sides of I've been a consultant, contractor, client, so just trying to do their thinking for them. And then in terms of the regulator, I think for that, it's about being timely, providing accurate data, and of course, meeting all the standards that we're bound by. Sorry, and that was quite long.
Okay. No, that was good. Thank you, Robin. Obviously the data side of thing is key, I think, isn't it? Through a lot of this, is picking up the data that it's provided and then feeding that back, I think, makes a massive difference. So, yes, thank you. Okay, so if I can come over to Daniel, if I can, or Patrick, is it? I believe. Just sort of wanted to put, obviously, Brendan and Robin have touched on how they go about collecting or sort of understanding their customers' needs. To sort of move it on to the next sort of step to a certain extent. How do you approach sort of taking that customer feedback and actually trying to implement change within your organisation a little bit?
Well, from the very first start, when we get something to come over that gets to pricing, before we price anything, we pretty much 99% do a site visit, so you can get to meet their team, find out what the end use is, because ours is a lot different. It's mainly in the ground. Yeah. So we need to know what they want. Can we value engineer it? Looking at our supply chain, can we source them the best value? And then from there, we just keep talking all the way through. If we have any more issues, many times I've gone back to sites 3 or 4 times to actually sit down, go through drawings where we might find something slightly different or we're not understanding it correctly. So we start that. Once we actually start, then we win the job. We get on the site and continuously we do a week meeting with whoever our general foreman is or our supervisor, things like that. Try to get the client to come in fortnightly as well to make sure we're hitting all of their targets and things like that.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for that. If I can go over to Oliver now, if I can, please. Oliver, similarly, in terms of the customer feedback, how do you look to integrate that into what you do on a project, or how your organisation, or to within your organisation?
Okay. So similar to the other points that were made, for us, the customer care side of stuff and understanding the customer's need is absolutely key. We start off any project with what's called an inception workshop. So that outlines not only what they want from the project, the design, the money and everything else, but their key criteria. And throughout the life of any project, we will engage with the customer formally 4 times generally through a project: pre-construction, 2 in construction, and then 1 post-construction, which is facilitated externally so that it's a non-biased review of how we've been getting on, whether we've been taking the customer's requirements into account. And the output of that is a "you said we did" form, which we give back to the customer and just demonstrate that we are listening to them, that their needs are being fulfilled. And then over and above that, we have more regular on-site meetings where we talk about how the project's going and the targets that they have given us. A key thing for us is making the customer's life easy. And anything that does need to be discussed, it's delivering that information on a level that they understand. And that's with respect, because not everybody is completely familiar with all of the construction terminology, as it were. So delivering those questions, that information to the customer in a way that they can fully understand and know that we are fully focused on delivering those items. I mean, generally speaking, we will have a main customer, but quite often as well, we will have an end user. For example, my last project was for East Sussex County Council. They were our customer, but they subleased the building to the Beckmead Trust, who are the end users for the school. So it was about bringing those guys on board as well, and whilst maintaining the strict budget and the requirements from East Sussex County Council, it was also making the Beckmead Trust feel welcome as well, because they're as important. They're the guys that are going to be using this building for the next 20, 30, 40 years. So it was important, because it was a special needs school, of understanding exactly the intricacies of that building and what was needed for these kids and everything else. So, there's lots of discussions all through the project, constant communication, and just making sure that it's key for us to demonstrate to our customer that we are listening to them on a regular basis.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Brendan, if I can come back to you, if I can, in terms of the sort of supplier-client relationship, how do you how do you possibly try influencing that client behaviour in terms of how they interact with your organisation?
Sorry, Karen.
Obviously, there's there must be a sort of best way to engage with you, or something, or preferred way that you'd like them to engage with you, or something like that.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely, the communication side. Last year, we really did push hard on social media, which we didn't have previously. We found that a success. We can give our customers instant updates, whether it's new equipment or changes of terms and conditions. It's out there straight away. We used some direct marketing campaigns, so they were continuously getting live information. We made more use of the internet using a PPC campaign, which is a pay-per-click, which is basically a Google ad. So basically, from that information, we could find out where they were clicking on our internet. If it was excavators, or for example, then we would then throw more media coverage on our excavators. We had more hits on our own home pages. We were getting direct calls. So we really have pushed with the technology side, rather than the picking up the phone or doing the site visits. We've used a lot more social media, and it's proved successful for us.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Robin, if I can come back to you, and a similar question, really. You touched upon earlier that you actually sort of have a sort of number of clients with the actual residents themselves, but then the grant funding, and then the other bits. How do you go about influencing how they engaged with your organisation?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I suppose, again, to split the question into two, because we have two clients. Again, for the regulator, I mean, that's about us, putting us in a position of, providing homes, having stuff that's that's deliverable. They have targets to meet. So, their need, their requirement is, more homes in the right place that are ready to go. So we've put ourselves in a position of creating a pipeline of projects so that they can call upon us to deliver those to help them with their shortfall. In terms of our customers' needs, we use data a lot. We same as probably everyone else, using the feedback that we get. We have a monthly KPI meeting chaired by myself. It's the whole organisation sits there. We're looking at trends. That's gone down slightly. Why has that gone down? That's gone up. We want to use that data to celebrate success as well. And I think as being a client, it's important for us to share our feedback with our consultants, our contractors. I take the time to ring up lots of our supply chain, thank them for what we do, make sure that feedback gets passed all the way down the supply chain. You get some comments saying, well, not many clients do that. They only ring us up when something goes wrong. We want to share and celebrate success. And we found that that works as trying to understand our clients' needs. And I think, as we touched upon in our presentation, last year we had 45% of our customers give us an unprompted compliment, and we got one complaint. And we've been doing that for the last sort of three years. So I think it's putting data at the centre of what we do, and understanding those trends, the positive ones as well, and sharing that.
Yeah. No, it's such a key part of what we do, and it's something we focus on quite a lot at the SEF. Yeah. So, okay. Actually, that does work into quite nicely to a question that's been put in the chat. So I will put that. How well do and actually, Robin, I may start with you actually again, because you sort of led us into it a bit. How well do your suppliers go about understanding your needs as their customer?
I think they do. I mean, we have certain challenges in the fact that we're a small housing provider, so a lot of careful of the audience really. A lot of people tend to chase the bigger suppliers, with the more money. So what we try and do is get them to understand that things are slightly different for a smaller. So we have to be a bit more agile. We work very hard at being a good client, and actually we want our supply chain to enjoy working for us and understand how the smaller ticks, because it is different. If you're in a bigger organisation and a smaller one, there are different challenges and different things that pull against you. And what we try and do is do our bit to be, the customer service starts from us of being a good client as well. And for example, we thank our supply chain, but we also and we've had a few say this. I mean, let's say we've got a large project on site. The contractors put their invoice in, and we paid them within 48 hours. So we're trying to do our bit as well in terms of that behaviour.
Yeah, and that's really key, isn't it? So yeah, Patrick, if I can come over to you with the same question, really. So how do your suppliers go about understanding your needs?
Very similar to Robin there. We're not a massive company either. We don't always go to the big boys. We like to keep local as well, and we do give them a lot of feedback when they get it right for our stuff to be delivered to site and things like that.
Okay, yeah, excellent.
We're all learning. The way DDL's gone in the last 3 years. 3 years ago, we wasn't in this position. So everything's a learning curve for us continuously, and we do learn a lot from the bigger boys as well, the tier ones, tier twos. Every time we go to another job, another site, we're learning something there as well, and we just keep trying to improve in that.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Oliver, if I can come to you again with the same question, really. See how that.
We do a lot of early engagement with our customers. Like I said, we have the inception workshop externally facilitated, and we get a lot of output from that. As Robin alluded to, data is key. And right from the outset, that allows us to fully engage with our supply chain partners and embed them in the project as well, and have the time to properly plan it and execute the needs of the customer. It's because it's done so early, there's no surprises. It can all be discussed up front, and everyone understands that vision of the customer. As soon as we engage with supply chain partners, that first pre-let meeting, they're in with us. Yes, we talk about all the contract and the details of the project, but the customer service and that expectation is presented at that first meeting, so they are aligned with the vision.
Okay, thank you. Do you carry out any sort of checks that what they're delivering is what you're after, or is there?
Yes, absolutely. Because we have the regular on-site meetings with the customer as well, that is then fed back in the supply chain meetings down to the on-site supervisors who are there every day looking after their individual packages, making sure that we have ticked those boxes. If we haven't, then why not? What are the issues? How can we overcome them? And essentially make sure that we do overcome those problems early on, so that when we get to the end of the project, we can demonstrate that we have delivered all of those needs and requirements over and above requests, aspirations, whatever it might be of the customer, and come out with the result that we want.
Okay, thank you. And then, lastly, Brendan, on that sort of same question, really, if we can, in terms of how well do your suppliers go about understanding your needs as their customer?
It's a similar situation to Robin, where we are we're a small private company. We are competing against the bigger outfits out there, especially in construction on the plant side. We're competing against nationwide companies who have got strong buying power. So for us to be as competitive is more challenging. But where our strengths are literally the customer service, they pay a little bit more to come to us in some occasions. But because of the reliability, we do get the repeat business. So we're against the big people, but it's certainly what we can do is what proves ourselves.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Okay, thanks. So what's the in terms of looking at other sectors that excel and in terms of exceeding customer needs, what do you think most enables them to do that? Sort of culture, data, or what might be behind it? I think we've already touched on the importance of data, haven't we, and how good that is to refine our requirements, and certainly, it's something that SEF rely on quite heavily to influence the processes we have in place. Robin, if I can come to, or if anybody wants to.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. It's an interesting question. And when I joined Sutton 3 years ago, we introduced something that sort of stuck with us. And we did a workshop with staff and sort of asked that question, but we centered it around a shop actually. And we asked them two questions, said, well, what shop do you think we are now? And what shop do you think we should be? And I'll explain that a little bit more, because it was trying to sort of get into customer service, what you thought was giving you great service. And we've talked about scale and size. And we sort of came up with, we wanted to be, our aspiration was little Waitrose. So if you go to Waitrose and you ask someone can you tell me where the jam is? They don't just tell you, they'll walk you to the jam. They'll personally take you there and show you it, and give you that sort of extra service of, so it's about culture. And we created something called Be the Body. So, and we've written that into everyone's appraisals. It's a value for our organisation, and what that means is, you be the body, you be that person that delivers that service. So it's not around answering the phones within 5 rings. It's taking personal responsibility for what you do, but it's also taking collective responsibility. So moving away from the sort of silos. If you see something, you deal with it. You take that personal responsibility, and actually, that's really helped us, and we use that term in our organisation about being the body. Be the body that does something, not leave it to somebody else. So I think we've talked about data, but I think it is culture, and that culture comes from all places, from the top down. But having something to hang it on, and that's how our journey started. And looking to other sectors and saying, well, who gets it right? That's a simple analogy, but if you go to Tesco's, sorry to not slagging off Tesco's, but it's over there. But if you go to Waitrose, they'll walk you to it, and I think that's the difference between culture.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and that cultural piece is really quite important, because it does need to be sort of top down, doesn't it, in terms of how you deliver things. Oliver, again, if I can come to you, again with the same sort of question, really, in terms of how other sectors excel and what most enables them to do that. What would be your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Our customer focus is driven right from the top of our business. Our Chief Operating Officer will issue bulletins every fortnight, and more often than not, it's about how we can improve as a business towards our customers. Customer is key, and making sure that we deliver our projects in an exemplar manner, fulfill our customers' needs, strive to do better, and get repeat business. We've looked at many different sectors, from aviation to retail to other construction sectors. And we've got a focus called Building on Better, which essentially just is that strive that, yes, we can do better, that we don't have to do things as we've always done. It's to go above and beyond and look at better ways of engaging with our customers, providing customer service. For example, we now engage a dedicated customer service manager on every construction project right from the inception workshop. So that customer service manager is there for the life of that project. We'll engage with our customer team. They know who that person is. It's another go-to person. The fact that we're all open, approachable, we're all empowered to make sure that we meet our customers' needs. We've learned from various sectors, and just it's that constant strive to make sure that we are as best as we possibly be when it comes to customer focus.
Excellent, thank you. On that, I think I'm quite conscious of time because we've got just under 10 minutes left now. I see there's a question come up in the Q&A, so we might open it up to the Q&A at this point, if everybody's happy with that. So, do you think you've had to improve on your customer satisfaction to increase your business, or is it something that's always been there, but everyone is expecting so much more now? I don't know if anybody would like to pick that one up, or.
Yeah, I think we always have to improve, and as the company gets bigger, we learn that. Like I did say earlier on, it's a massive learning process continuously, and I think once you get face to face with someone, you get a better understanding of what they do want. But we're learning continuously. Even when sometimes you think you've got it right, there may be still an element you haven't got right. So once again, we sit down, we talk. That's the only way. It's never easy. It never works out as easy what you want it to. So you continuously always getting better. You continuously always learning. And you're making a mistake in this job, you don't bring that mistake to your next job.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead right, Patrick. And it's something that, we strive to do. The SEF is that continual development and constantly sort of developing on feedback and where things go. So, it's so vital.
Like what we do as well, like we said earlier on before, like now we have WhatsApps. I know it's only a WhatsApp, so every job we do and anybody working for us on that job, they're all in there. So it's instant information, instant photographs, any issue. Now it's within minutes, not within hours, if there's a problem or an issue. Material hasn't gone to site. We know straight away now that we can divert something else to site and things like that. But you continuously, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, anybody else want to offer anything on that before I move on, or?
I would just thanks, Alex. So, I mean, I think you can continually improve, but there's a point where I think you reach a limit, and then it's about maintaining that. So, for example, when I joined our organisation, our customer feedback, let's say for repairs, was 91%. Happy customers, which is a great outcome. But in the first year, we increased that from 91 to 99. Now, the challenge for us is anything now is it's getting worse. So actually, we are maintaining that. So I think you can get to a point where actually this is really good, but the challenge is about then you've got to maintain that, and the continual improvement is about maintaining and enhancing what you've got, because there's a point where, I don't think you can go any further, and that's what we're looking at now is maintaining those levels of positive customer feedback.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Robin. Okay, so there's one more question in the Q&A, so we'll move on to that. How do the panelists balance the sometimes conflicting requirements for satisfaction of the paying customer, i.e. client or organisation, and the experiential customer, i.e. tenant, resident or building user, and also the conflicting motivations among stakeholders within the client team? Any feedback on that? Oliver, I might come to you on that one. Is that?
Yeah, sure. I alluded to it earlier, the fact that my most recent project, we had a customer who was the council, and then the end user, which was a separate organisation that specialises in the need of learning difficulties, and it was a really SEMA, social, emotional, mental health school. So there was an element of specialist kit required for this project to ensure the well-being and ongoing learning for the children and the pupils. But there wasn't actually any conflicts during construction. And I believe that's because the way that we engaged with both the customer and the end user together, and having that open and honest discussions, making them both feel part of the team, but also I think key to that, and to answer the question, to avoid the conflicts, is to make sure that there's no secrets, there's no hidden agendas there, that the end user understands budget constraints. And where we came in was being able to understand what the end user wanted, also understand what the budget constraints were, and then provide a solution to both problems. So, for example, the end user wanted a lot more PowerPoints in the school for specialist equipment and everything. It was a total of 160 extra PowerPoints, and we offset that money by value engineering the way that the Wi-Fi network was set up. We looked at an alternative option that, rather than having a load of hardwired data points, used Wi-Fi, so that we had a saving which countered the cost for the
Excellent.
Okay. PowerPoints as well.
Sorry to cut you off short there, Oliver, but we are running slightly out of time. Anybody else want to offer anything on that, or no? Okay, so I'd like to thank you all for coming today and being on the panelists. I've thoroughly enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you.
See you all this evening for the award ceremony. So thanks ever so much for your input today, and thanks for those that have attended.